Hello, it's Larry with Rapidset Metal Buildings, and this is video number 9 of our series on our web pricing system in simple mode. Now we're at the quote page, and once you click through accessories, it all flows through to this page. And this is really critical that you understand what you're getting or what you're expecting for what you're paying. So let me just start at the top here. Obviously, this is you'd be in here instead of me. Where it goes, and then right here you have building weight, and that's really important so that you can compare quotes if you've got more than one. And also, one truck is about 38 to 40,000 pounds, so you can kind of estimate how many trucks you got coming too. And then this should be the data that you input. Like I want a clear span building. 2 frames is what the system chose, but basically this is the overall size: 56, 65, 14, and a 2 and 12 slope. And this might be different from the other tutorials, but I just threw in a size to make the thing work. And then this part right here, and I can't express it enough, is the most important part of the quote. So in this case, the system chose IBC 09, 90, exposure B, roof snow 28, collateral half a pound, and the seismic and the closed condition. But I know that this particular area is, I think, IBC 12, 115 wind, C, I think 30 to 40 pounds depending on your elevation of your building site. So the point being is to make sure that you print this out and go take it to your building department, and then ask them, for this building site, is this the correct load and code? And if this is not what it is, then edit it on the piece of paper here, come back and do another quote with the right loads and codes that you could enter as you're through that page, and then it will all flow through, and then the seal will be optimized for those loads and codes. I just can't tell you how critical that is. Anyway, this is the configuration of the bays and the bracing. In a simple mode, it's pretty much always going to do cable diagonal, unless the seismic calls for rod. And then these are your openings, what type of colors, what type of panel. And with the simple mode, you're always going to be in PBR, which means purlin bearing leg, which is simply the 26 gauge panels with ribs about a foot apart. And so down here you actually have a price. And this price, you have to just make sure that you read it. Total building cost with no accessories. Shipping included to this zip code, wherever your zip code is, and 2 sets of engineered plans included. And that's critical. You got to make sure that all of that is covered. And then you could say, okay, are my accessories on top of that? And what do I want to go with the building? And in this case, we chose obviously roof color, walk door, and whatnot, and then it's just all added up here. So you just simply can choose to get it or not get it. Like insulation, for example, you can buy it locally or figure something else out if you like. Or gutters and downspouts, you call the local seamless gutter person and have them come and put gutters on your building. Any way that you want to do it. It's not, you don't have to get any of this from us. But for sure, the building only is the most important part, and then what you add on to it. And then to keep going, this is the 3D of the building and the orientation of the bracing and the openings. And this is really super important too, that if your competition doesn't give you a layout, meaning that, okay, my bracing is going to go here, and if I want a walk door, let's say right here, how am I going to do that with the bracing in the way? And if it comes down to putting other types of bracing, like a wind column, portal frame, there's different kinds, then it's going to raise the cost substantially, and you need to know that. And also, if it's a wind column, which means basically a perpendicular steel along a column line that would transfer the load into a concrete, sometimes, depending on wind and snow load, that concrete could get huge, like a truck or two, just to hold that one column, so that your building would be braced in that direction. So let's keep going here. And you need to read this part too. Pretty much everything is supplied except for the anchor bolts or fasteners to the concrete, because theoretically they should be there. And if you're going to do the brace angle, you want to pop those in with whatever kind of gun you have, and that makes the most sense. Then also sales tax will be calculated at the delivery address. In And that's kind of a moving target with us right now because it depends on some states collect the tax and we pay through the factory the tax. And some states say, okay, you're responsible as the customer and they charge you use tax. Or some states you do whatever you want. I mean, they haven't really gotten there yet. You just need to know that because the sales tax could be added on your quote for the percentage or the amount of where it's delivered to, and you just really got to know that. So and be ready because it like California, Florida, Illinois. There's lots of states that we have to collect sales tax on. So you just need to know that. And then down here, this is a really big deal. If you're building it or you're having a neighbor build it or whatever however you're going to do it, is to plan your project and plan the building of it, and then make sure that you're safe in the midst of building your project because your physical ability is just way more important than any building. So just so you know, if you do your quote a few times, you confirm the loads and codes, and you have gotten to the place to where, okay, this is what I actually like, then you need to simply print this quote out and give us a call, and we'll show you how to send the forms in, confirm that it's what you want, because usually we'll have to go over it in the office before we take any money for anything, just to make sure that it's right and you're going to be pleased in the end. Otherwise, it would hurt us to take the order. Then also we'll show you how to send funds in, like either through a scan, a fax, a check. I mean, we have lots of different ways that we can make the deposit work. So I think that's it for this. This is Larry with Rapidset Metal Buildings, and thanks for listening.